NNRG.
You know, it's always kind of interesting when a particular celebrity is so well known that instead of getting games based on the particular films or television shows or whatever that they've been in, you instead have video games based entirely on the person, like the actual person. So here we have a game that's just simply called Bruce Lee. Not any of the movies he has been in, but just Bruce Lee. And it's a tape file, so let's get it started. Okay, got some flashing, the border. But yeah, so I'm going to assume it's some kind of martial arts game of some kind. And we got a Remember logo here, which means this is going to be a later one. So we might have some documentation. That'd be nice. Wait, some note this game crashes sometimes, but that's history now. Found the bug. Okay, so it looks like the people cracking this one actually figured out how to solve a problem that the original game had. So that's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's move on here. So are we going to get docs? Yeah, we're going to get docs. Scenario. In Bruce Lee, you will experience the power and the glory of Bruce Lee, one of the greatest masters of the martial arts. As Bruce Lee, you will confront a barrage of vicious foes. You must penetrate the fortress of the evil wizard and claim his fortunes. Destroying the wizard will earn you immortality and infinite wealth. Okay. I can't say I ever would have imagined Bruce Lee would have wanted those things. Also, we're fighting a wizard. What? As you enter one of the many secret chambers deep within the fortress, you're pursued by two of your most fearless enemies, the ninja, a skillful fighter with an arsenal of deadly weapons, and his partner, the massive green Yamo, who can deliver bone-crushing blows. Added threats await you in the evil wizard's chambers, where you become the target of deadly fire from the eyes of the wizard. Only you possess the strength and ability to conquer these enemies and survive. Now you too can experience the excitement of Bruce Lee. The legend still lives on. I guess that was going to potentially be a subtitle, but didn't end up being it. Anyways, features 20 secret chambers to explore, dazzling graphics and animation, unique multiple player options. So, wait. So if we're playing Bruce Lee, but this is a two-player game, then who's the second player? I mean, probably Jackie Chan, that would be my guess. Okay, it looks like there's actually quite a bit of story to these documents. Okay, finally past the story section. Controls. So one player, plug joystick into control port 1. Okay, that's good to know. Many C64 games has got it reversed. Number of players, press F3 key. Playing against the computer or an opponent, press the F5 key to indicate whether the player who is up as Bruce Lee will compete against the computer or against an opponent. Huh. So it's kind of like there's a normal, like, single-player mode, but you can set it up so that both players can fight each other? That's kind of interesting. Okay, so looking at the controls here, you run left and right by moving the joystick left and right. Kick by pressing the joystick button while you're running. You deliver a kick in that direction. Chop by pressing the joystick button while standing still. Execute a chop in the direction you're facing. Leap to get from one ledge to another by moving the joystick up and to the left or right. It looks like we're also trying to grab lanterns for some reason. There's also vines we can climb up and down. We can duck by holding the joystick down. Space is the pause key. We can quit with the F1 key. And yeah, that seems to be the bulk of it here. Okay, so let's get into it. So, okay, more flashing. I thought we were done with the flash. Wait a minute, this was a tape file. Just the whole nature of it should have already been loaded. Oh, what do I know? Anyways, Bruce Lee, programmed by Ron J. Fortier? I'm guessing that's what it is, and graphic art by Kelly Day. Datasoft Incorporated. Okay, so we've got the trainer options. Okay, just the two of them. Okay, Datasoft presents Bruce Lee. So we can change the number of players, we can change whether it's, oh wow. I actually had to turn the volume down on my end because that was surprisingly loud. So yeah, you have the F3 key to change between 1 or 2 players, F5 to change whether it's the standard game or just a versus game, although it shows it here as like computer versus opponent. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But anyway, oh, and I didn't hit any buttons at all, so I'm guessing we're going into demo mode? This doesn't look like demo mode. But wait, I don't have any controls either. Wait, is the demo mode for this game literally they just beat up Bruce Lee and that's it? Why put a demo mode in the game if you're not going to have any pre-recorded actions for it? Okay, F7 to begin game, player 1. So now, okay, now I can actually control it. That was weird. The demo that didn't give a toss. Okay, so there's our chop. It looks more like a punch. And then there's our kick. We can duck. So I'm guessing this... Oh, well, this guy really hits back. Well, it doesn't seem too bad. So there's something about grabbing the lanterns. So, okay, yeah, we can actually grab the lanterns. So I'm guessing maybe that's what our goal is, grab all the lanterns. I'm guessing. The instructions weren't 100% clear what I was supposed to be doing. Unless it was in the story section, which, you know, that's not impossible. But the story section was huge. I wasn't about to read that whole thing. Okay, so we'll grab these 2 lanterns. And then, okay, we can move beyond the different screens. So let's head down, grab some more lanterns. So that seems to be the goal to get... Oh. Okay, so it looks like those black walls at the sides, you can't actually go through. So I guess that makes sense. It means it kind of restricts like how the screen's gonna split off into different sections. So let's see what we can... Ow! He just freaking... What was going on there? He like jump kicked me off the thing. Oh, and now I'm dead? What? So I'm gonna guess the game is like keeping track of a hidden energy value or health value or something, because it didn't seem to make much sense why I died right there. Like, I don't see anything on the screen that sort of indicates how much health I have. I don't know. Yeah, the enemies seem to have issues with tracking you, because they're like down there at the bottom, and now they don't seem to care. Like, if you're not on the same level... Like, if you're below the level that they're on, they come down to fight you. But if you're above the level they're on, they just sort of don't move. It's kind of weird. Like, yeah, now that I'm down here, they're gonna get up in my face. But all I have to do is get up here and they don't care anymore. Okay, well, I can't seem to get past this thing. It's weird, because it almost looks like it's in the background, but it's clearly not. So I guess I gotta go the other way? Because I don't see any other ways to go on this screen. Oh, wait. Something's going on at the bottom there. It's almost like there's a hole in the bottom of the screen there. I'm not going to go down that hole unless it turns out to be the only way left to go, because I just got a bad feeling about that. But then I'm not quite sure what to do about this situation. Maybe I do have to go down that hole. Because, like, I mean, it looks like there might be a way to go over to the left there, but I'm not sure how to actually get up there. Okay, so let's see if we can actually... Oh, we can go down there. So now we're, like, sort of in an underground section of this pagoda or wherever we happen to be. Or is this place a castle? Like, I'm not entirely certain on Chinese architecture, so I don't exactly know what we're dealing with here. Not to mention, it just occurred to me, we're playing a Bruce Lee game. If memory serves, Bruce Lee is Chinese, but there's references to ninja who are Japanese. Are we, like, crossing continuities here or something, or do I have something really wrong? Okay, so I'm continuing to make progress. It's like when you get certain lanterns, it seems to open up passages to other places. I'm a bit worried about that sort of beam in the middle of the screen, though. I'm going to try to go... Oh, you actually climbed this. What? I'm not entirely certain what this is supposed to be. Although I have noticed that those sort of white particles that are moving side to side, those are actually deadly. So you gotta be careful about that. Yeah, see? So yeah, I'm not sure what to do about that situation there. Also, it just game overed, so I'm guessing I'm gonna have to start over again. Yep. Also, one thing I've noticed is that if you want to clear the screen of enemies, all you have to do is just scroll off the screen and then scroll back on. So, that's one way to get rid of the enemies, just pretend they don't exist. Yeah, watch. If I go off the screen here and come back, boom, enemies are gone. Gives me the perfect opportunity to go fetch the lanterns. So one other interesting thing I've noticed is that the enemies are not immune to the traps. So, if an enemy gets hit by like one of those... Yeah, you saw it just right there with the ninja. Fell into the trap and just sort of disintegrated. So that's actually kind of interesting that even the enemies are affected by the traps. You don't often see that in games like this. Maybe if I jump kick the lantern, that'll work? Oh yeah, jump kicking the lantern was the answer. And that made it so that, well, the enemies are going to try to follow me, but not going to work so well for them. But now I gotta time my jump down here so I don't get hit by those particles moving to the side. So let's give it a wait. And go. I might have gone a little too late. Oh no, I made it. So now we're in another section, which has got some weird tree-like things coming out of the ground. Oh geez, yeah, the tree things are deadly, so do not touch the tree things. What even triggers them to go? Because they're not going automatically, so it seems like you actually have to get in their path. It didn't have... That killed me? You can die just from standing over top of the... Hate it when games do that, where you're not even on the same plane as something, and yet it somehow is able to make contact. Okay, those tree things are actually pretty annoying to deal with. Like, I'm glad that they affect the enemies so readily, but they are definitely very dangerous to deal with. Also, that was apparently the wrong way to go? Or maybe I opened a path on the other side and didn't notice. Okay, well, let's see what this versus mode is all about. So if I turn it to opponent mode and now begin. So I think all we're supposed to do now is just fight the bad guy, or fight the bad guys, but we still got the lanterns. Not to mention, he's just standing up there. He's not actually going after me, so that's kind of weird. Maybe I just gotta get up there first? Really? You're just gonna stand there? Oh, now he's mad. Jeez, don't know what that was about. Okay, and now he's just sort of standing there and just taking it to the face. Oh, and now the fall suddenly went to 4 and deactivated. That is weird. Maybe it's not working right. Okay, I'm looking through the instructions now, and I see what's going on here. So, the whole thing with 1-player and 2-player is as I expected. 1-player mode, it's just 1 player taking the role of Bruce Lee. 2-player mode makes it so that the first and second player take turns being Bruce Lee. The thing with the opponent and computer thing, the versus computer versus opponent, what that does is it determines if the green Yamo enemy is controlled by a second player or not. So 1 player versus computer means it's only a 1-player experience, that's it. 1 player versus opponent means the first player takes control of Bruce and the second player takes control of the green Yamo on all the screens that he appears on. So that's kind of an interesting way of doing it. So the second player is effectively taking control of enemies. Now, the 2-player versus computer mode is your typical 2-player mode. It switches between the 2 different players. But 2 players versus opponent makes it so that it's still switching between the 2 players, but whoever is not Bruce Lee is now taking the role of the enemy green Yamo. So yeah, it's kind of a weird way of doing it, but at the same time, I get it. Like, I mean, it's something I always theorized about was having it so that in a game, your second player could be an opponent. And that actually happens in some games, where it's normally a single player experience, but if the second player picks up the controller, like the second controller, they can control your opponents. Like, I think one of the most famous examples is Duck Hunt on the NES. And I also took a moment to refresh myself on some things. First of all, there's no such thing, there's no equivalent to ninjas in China, or Hong Kong for that matter, and that's important because Bruce Lee is from Hong Kong, which it's kind of important to make the distinction. But yeah, so we have ninjas in the wrong part of the world, so it's like, I don't know. And as for the name of this place, the instructions just call it a fortress. So yeah, it's a Chinese fortress or a Hong Kong fortress. It's a fortress. Okay, so that was Bruce Lee for the Commodore 64. And you know what? This isn't bad. The controls are very responsive. They're a little tricky to get used to because of the fact that you don't have like a normal kick. Like, you have jump kicks, and then you have a punch, which is called a chop, and when you duck, you're really freaking ducking. Like, that's not just ducking, that's going full prone on the ground there. But yeah, the only thing I don't like here is that you don't have a health bar, so you kind of don't really know when you're going to go down after taking however many hits. Like, you have a falls counter, which is effectively your extra lives, but that doesn't really tell you when you're about to go down. Not to mention, some things are instantly fatal, so that doesn't help. But yeah, overall gameplay is not bad. I imagine an expert at this could probably beat it pretty quickly, just based on the fact that there's 20 chambers, and we've seen like at least half of those, I think. Maybe half. The point is, though, is that the gameplay is fine, so there you go.